So for this week's lesson, we're going to focus on the smiley face. Now we see smiley faces like this everywhere, but you ever think like, where did this come from? We actually do know who invented this iconic yellow circle smiley face design. In 1963, an insurance company, State Mutual Life Assurance Company of Worcester, Massachusetts, bought Guarantee Mutual of Ohio. And so people who were working for those two companies, as one bought out the other, they weren't all that happy about it. And the company decided to hire a graphic designer to make something they could use to make people happier around the offices. They wanted a design that they could put on about 100 different buttons or little circular pins that people could wear, and it would remind them to smile and be kind and be friendly around the office. Harvey Ball was the artist that they hired. He said he made a circle with a smile for a mouth on a yellow piece of paper because it was sunshiny and bright. He also decided to make the eyes slightly different sizes and the smile a little bit off-center to sort of emphasize the human touch. There's this Japanese idea they call wabi-sabi, which is sort of like the beauty of the imperfections. And Harvey Ball wanted to convey that tone, sort of embracing and accepting, everybody, flaws and all, still smile and be happy. Now, Harvey Ball was paid $45 for his design. He never trademarked it or anything. He didn't think it would go beyond that little local campaign of 100 buttons. And in 1963, $45 was the equivalent of about $375 today. Not bad for about 10 minutes of work. Well, the smiley design that he came up with, it was an instant hit. It started with that insurance company ordering 100 pins to pass out to their employees, but everybody who saw it wanted a button, and so they were quickly ordering them in batches of like 10,000. Interestingly, it was someone else who trademarked the design and made millions from it. Harvey Ball is said to have been all right with his choice not to do that himself. He was really happy and really proud that he put out something that made so many people smile. And so, even though someone else was making millions off his design, he didn't sue them. Instead, he started World Smile Day, dedicated to smiling and acts of kindness. And in 1999, Ball formed the World Smile Corporation. They organize World Smile Day, and the money they make licensing the smiley designs goes to support children's charities. Now, as we all know, when one person shares their good idea, it can often spark good ideas for other people as well. And that smiley face that Harvey Ball invented in 1963, it has evolved into essentially its own language. In the early days of text messaging, people often used the keys to make what we called emoticons. They would press the colon and then parentheses to make a smile, or semicolon parentheses to make a wink. It was a way of sort of showing the mood that couldn't be captured as well in the text. And then in 1999, Shigetaka Kurita, a Japanese artist, created small symbols to use as sort of short and simple messages. Kurita invented the emoji. Now, today, what I want you to do is think about if you were asked to design a smiley face to spread happiness, what would it look like? You're going to design your own emoji showing what makes you happy. Now, the first step, I drew a circle. I sketched with pencil, and then I thought about what would be some symbols I could put with that circle design that would show some of my interests, some of the things that I like to do that make me happy. So I decided to show symbols of art and science, two subjects that I find really interesting, that I really enjoy learning more about. And so I've got that sort of beaker or flask that is sort of pouring a liquid out onto a paintbrush, because I see a connection between the arts and sciences. I love experimenting with materials and doing all sorts of different things and finding what is working, whether in making a work of art or in a scientific experiment. I just like to learn new things, and I like to try new things. Now, after sketching in pencil, I decided to outline in Sharpie. Of course, you can use whatever materials you would like. You don't necessarily have to outline in black. I liked outlining in black because I feel like it goes along with sort of that poppy feel of the smiley face and emojis. It has that real graphic quality to it. And by outlining in black, it makes the shapes stand out. It makes it a little higher contrast. And finally, it sort of frames the shapes. It makes it look a little bit more neat and polished in my design. I decided to color using crayons, and one strategy that I used was I pressed harder in some areas and gentler in other areas. I wanted it to look like the goggles and things were a little bit transparent, and so in the area behind the goggles, behind the glass or plastic, I colored a little bit more gently with my yellow so that I could layer the blue over the top of that and really get the sense that I'm seeing through the color to see through to the yellow behind it. Now, after I have colored my emoji, I'm going to color the background. I'm going to color the negative space, which is the space around my subject, around the shapes that I've drawn. I decided to make sort of an abstract design because I was thinking about how my interest is art, and I wanted to show art in my design and show another form of art. So I made sort of an op art design, an abstract design in the background. You can make whatever sort of background you would like, but do fill the negative space. You fill your background with whatever is appropriate for your design. If yours is a soccer playing emoji, maybe you're going to have it out in a soccer field. If yours is a swimming emoji, maybe you're going to have it down at the bottom of the ocean. Maybe it's going to be a skiing emoji. It can be any sort of thing you want. It can be reading a book in a library, out in a park, whatever feels appropriate for you. But do think about what symbols can you add to that familiar circular emoji type design. And then I want you to think about where would that be? What should the background look like so that you're making sure that every inch of your paper, every inch of your design is the best it can be. So when people look at it, they will see your greatness and it will make them smile too. So make your emoji into something that makes you smile and will hopefully spread that joy, spread that happiness to others.